This week we're celebrating 3 years on the road, and as you'll see, our travel days don't always go as planned.
I look in the rear view camera and this is what I see. Welcome to Colorado, where the weather's always great. So living full-time on the road, sometimes you have to find creative ways to problem solve. Wait till you see what we had to do this week. We wanted a consultation with your camping expertise. Tell me a little bit about this. Doing some hard labor, but this is what we had to do to get level.
You're not going to believe what happened. We got run out of our site again.
We are relocating to a different spot. We're going to be heading maybe about 3 or 4 miles down the road and then about 5 miles up. So this is our first time in Steamboat Springs. We weren't sure what to expect. We had a blast. Wait till you see what we have in store for you. Those are some steep potholes.
Yes,
I hope Kyle's Dodge Ram can get through it. Welcome to Rabbit Ears Pass. We are just congregating here. Reagan and Coral ran off to see if they could find a boondocking spot for us. They wanted to check it out and do some scouting before we pulled down the road. Michelle's right here.
We're here. Just need to find a good spot.
So as you guys will see, let me pull this out of the back of the truck. We had a little bit of an adventure from our dump station to this location, which was only probably about 40 miles or so. But we went through a torrential downpour. I'll probably be inserting some pictures there. And then after probably about 20 miles, I turn around, or I look in the rear view camera, and this is what I see. I'm thinking this isn't usable anymore. What do you think? Is this dump tube gonna work? Our stinky slinky has met its demise.
It has seen better days.
We were dragging it down the interstate. I hopefully can grab some pictures from the rear view camera since it records. But I think what happened, as we were driving through the torrential downpour, I think some of the water splash from the tires or whatever came up and hit my cap that was right here and just kind of pulled it out enough to start the whole slinky coming out. And by the time I saw it, it had been shredded.
And nobody had honked at us to let us know.
Yeah, I don't know how long it had been dragging. Maybe we'll be able to tell in the video footage, but yep. So luckily we got one over here on this side. So we'll just use this one from now on, and I'll just have to get an end cap or something. That magnetic one, I've had issues with it. It's broken a couple times, and so I think I'm probably just going to put like an insert plastic one in there, and hopefully that'll hold a little bit better than that magnetic one. So the shitter tube's done. So after one adventurous day of travel, as you guys saw with the stinky slinky, we got to our boondocking site, the one we wanted to go to. Reagan and Coral had gone and checked, and it was just too rough to get back to. It was called Walton Peak. So we were able to find another spot not too far off of US 40 here outside of Steamboat. I would say we're probably about maybe 25 minutes east of Steamboat. And as you can see here, we got everybody set up. As you can see from Reagan and Coral's, you know, it's pretty uneven. Let me take you over and show you, insert a couple clips here of us doing some hard labor, but this is what we had to do to get level. Sometimes we have uneven surfaces to camp on, folks. We had to dig into the ground, obviously, because we couldn't get level front to back. We're good side to side, but then we also had to dig to get the stairs to even come down. So but yeah, we are here, we're set. We're gonna be here for 2 weeks. One of our friends, Cody, and his German Shepherd Ranger from the Connected Camper are driving up the road right now, so we're excited to see them. We haven't seen him probably, I think it was May of 22 maybe. Yeah, I think it was May of 22, out in Moab. So it's been a long, over a year plus since we saw Cody and Ranger. So we're excited to have them here. So we'll let them get set up, and we'll be back with you here shortly. Hello from Steamboat Springs, Colorado. So we are out on a hike today. It's myself and Michelle along with Cody and his dog Ranger. We are doing the Uranium Mine Trail just outside of Steamboat. So it was about a, I don't know, half-hour drive from our boondocking spot. It's only about 3.5 to 4 miles long, but 600 feet of elevation. So we've been climbing since we left the parking lot. But I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully we're gonna go down and take a look later, but I'll show you the amazing waterfall that we just saw off to the side as we were hiking up this hill. But yeah, beautiful day. It was about 67, 68 back at the campsite, but we're much lower elevation now, and so it's right around 80. But we're excited about this hike, and we'll show you what we find. So we made it to the old uranium mine. Let me show you. Oh, it's nice and cool back here. Fortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to go back. But pretty sweet. Hi, Ranger. Say hi to YouTube. So this is a pretty cool payoff at the end of the trail. I remembered seeing something on one of the reviews that said make sure you dip your feet in the water at the end. So I wasn't sure if it was a lake or what it was, because we just kind of planned this at the last minute. We had another trail in mind this morning or this afternoon, but Coral and Reagan weren't feeling real well, and Aiden had just laid down for a nap, so we didn't want to wake him up to go on that one. So we'll be doing that here probably in the next few days or so. But yeah, so beautiful, beautiful hike. Well, everyone, times they are a-changing. So let me give you a quick update on what's been going on. Today's been kind of hectic. It is Wednesday before the Labor Day weekend, and we've known, obviously we can see a bunch of tunnels here. We've known that there's been a lot of little rodents running around here, but our friend Cody took his vehicle in for an oil change today, and when he got back here, he'd gotten an email from the Ford dealership. Oh, sorry, really windy. He had gotten an email from the Ford dealership, and in the notes they said that they had taken 6 mice out of the engine bay compartment today when they were changing his oil. And yeah, that's a no-go. Mice are destroyers of rigs and obviously wiring in trucks too. So we are relocating to a different spot. We're going to be heading maybe about 3 or 4 miles down the road, and then about 5 miles up. Reagan and I just went and scouted some areas, and we found a really pretty prime spot. It's way back in the middle of the forest, and we laid our stuff down to save it. I'll kind of show you here in a video I took for everybody to check it out. But Michelle and Lauren are still in town doing some laundry and running some errands, so I'm gonna start packing up the camper to get that thing ready, and when they get back later this afternoon, we are getting out of here. Mice are no joke, and yeah, it's just not worth risking it. This is a nice spot, but it's super unlevel, and you know, this spot up here that we're going to is really, really sweet. So I'm gonna start packing up. Made it to our new location. There we are, tucked in there by Reagan and Coral, and now we're just figuring out where Sean and Lauren are gonna park. We think we have a plan, but we don't know if it's a good one yet.
We'll give you a plan.
Hey Sean, we wanted a consultation with your camping expertise. Tell me a little bit about this. This looks like the least stable setup I've ever seen for stabilizing bars.
It is.
What happened there?
Well, our back end is too far up and I don't have enough blocks.
Well, good early morning. Today, for a point of reference, is September 2nd. I woke up to the news that one of my music icons, Jimmy Buffett, had passed away. So that is not an exciting way to start a weekend. But he was 76 and provided many years of amazing music for me to listen to. I first learned about Jimmy's music back in probably about 1990 when I was working at the Holiday Inn in Westlake, where I grew up. One of the guys in the local bar next door at the hotel was playing Margaritaville, and I thought, oh, this is a cool song, and that's how I found out about him. Went to my very first concert probably when I was 17, and I've seen him 27 times at this point. So I'm wearing a Jimmy Margaritaville shirt from Key West that I got probably in around 92 or 93 when we had gone down for a spring break to Key West. And of course I'm playing Radio Margaritaville. So Jimmy, thank you. We'll miss you. So we had a great breakfast this morning with everyone at the Creek restaurant, and now we are just here at the farmers market exploring to see what they all got. This is the biggest farmers market we have ever been to. Two thumbs up to the Steamboat Springs farmers market. Michelle's still down looking at a few things. Sean and Lauren and Aiden are in there. They were down at the bison trailer getting some bone marrow and things of that nature. And I'm just actually heading back to the truck, and we are going to be heading back up. Today is a Saturday of NCAA football, so we got to get home to watch my. So welcome to Colorado, where the weather's always great. Of course it stops as soon as I open the door, so maybe I should have done that about 4 or 5 minutes earlier, since it had been going for a few minutes. What do you think, Michelle?
At least the little hail pellets stayed little. They didn't get any bigger.
Yeah, they're pea-sized.
And it's subsided, so that's good.
Yeah, I don't know if you can tell out the thing, but it kind of looks like it's snow on the ground a little bit. So, yeah, luckily we got the awning in just in time, but I heard some thunder over in the distance, so we got everything in. Hopefully things are okay. You know, for RVers, hail is horrible, for obviously damage to anything that's outside, but more importantly solar panels too. So most of them are pretty resilient, but you know, you always worry about the solar panels, especially when they're up on the roof and taking the brunt of any hailstorm. So howdy folks. So today I am out on a mountain biking adventure here in Steamboat Springs. I'm going to be doing a combination of a lot of these trails. There's not literally like one name for it, but I found it on all trails actually this time instead of mountain bike projects. So I'm at the Emerald Mountain Trail System right in downtown Steamboat Springs. You can turn around and you can see I'm right behind the fairgrounds, and right there is downtown. So it's super convenient, especially if you're staying in the area. So I'm gonna do about 10 miles today. I don't know what to expect. It looks like it's got some high elevation gain, but it's considered intermediate, so I'm hoping it's not too bad. So I'm gonna take you along. I got you on top of my helmet this time. So I thought I'd do a 3-mile check-in. This is hard. I think so far I've gone about 700 feet of elevation gain. It's been all uphill since the parking lot. It's a total of 1,200 and odd feet of climb, so I still got about 500 more or so to go. I would guess maybe 700, I don't know, I have to look. But I'm just taking a break because my heart rate's been up in like the 160s to 170 range pretty much since I started. So now my glasses are all fogging up, so I'm gonna stop, take a drink. And, current view from the top of the mountain bike trail. Recap time with Kyle. So, wow, what a fun trail on the way back. I wasn't talking much because I was hanging on to the handlebars, but I found that whole downhill section dedicated one direction flow track called NPR. That was a blast. I'll show you some clips along the way here. So it ended up being 1,264 feet of elevation climb, and I burned 1,364 calories, and I got a little muddy, but that's what mountain biking is about. So great trail. When I was up at the overlook there at the midway point, I started talking to a couple that were hiking, and turns out they're from Dayton, Ohio. So we had a good talk about Ohio, and they have a condominium out here, and just, you know, shooting the shit with some other Buckeyes. So I'm gonna go run a few errands. I'll probably take you and show you what I'm doing today. I gotta get the battery charged back up here in the GoPro while it's in the car, but I gotta put the bike away and stuff. And yeah, great trail system. It was a heck of a climb, but it was well worth it, especially for that NPR flow track downhill. It was like, I don't know, 4 miles of it or something. It was fantastic. So see you soon. So one of my stops is here at Whistler Park to fill up our water jugs. So I've got our drinking water down there, and I've got some of the water for our camper down there. I'll put a link to those lids. One of the nice things about these lids is there's a rim that fits around the 5-gallon bucket, and basically it turns your lid into a screw-on cap like that, and so much easier to use. Those little snap-on lids that come with these buckets, you know, we've had them on the road for 3 years and they've broken, so they haven't been working anyway, so the water's been sloshing out. So I decided to invest in some of these, and they've been working great so far. So I stopped and got groceries at Safeway, and now I am headed back to the homestead. Let me turn that off so it doesn't get copyright tagged. So yeah, if you're looking for water and you're boondocking in this area, Whistler Park's the spot to go. I gave all the details and GPS coordinates in the campsite review of this location here outside of Steamboat Springs probably a week or so ago, maybe even like a few days ago. So check that out and put that on your map. Now headed on back to the homestead. Crew's out on a hike today. We are with Sean and Lauren and Aiden. Reagan's with us, and then Michelle and I. We are doing a portion of the, I think it's Routt, R-O-U-T-T, National Forest. It's the Routt Divide Trail. It's about a 6-mile trail with about 1,000 feet of elevation, but we're gonna see how Reagan feels as we kind of hike further in, because the big climb starts right around a mile in, and so we may either turn around there or hike a little bit of it. I don't think we'll be doing the whole thing. Reagan's hip surgery was, you know, just a month ago, so he's not yet ready to do those much longer hikes, but he's doing great with where he's at in such a short amount of time. So we made the turnaround point. It's going to be about 1.5 miles in. It's about just under 500 feet of elevation gain that we reached today. It'll probably end up being about 575 in ascent, because there's a couple spots that we're actually going to have to hike back up where we were hiking down before. So yeah, it's pretty cool up here. Let me give you the panorama. So Sean and Lauren are here. They're down doing some filming, and their son is learning how to eat deer poop, apparently, because there's some down there, and he decided he was going to pick it up and try to eat it. So there's Michelle. She is here.
Hi guys.
Even though she doesn't ever get on the camera anymore. Just kidding. She's doing a lot better on the camera, but I'm probably going to put it in my backpack that way, because we got a pretty steep decline or descent on the way back, so that way I have both my hands free. But yeah, so we'll see you down at the trailhead. But yeah, beautiful trail. If we had kept going, we had about 500 more feet of elevation gain, and we still had about 4 more miles total. Well, it's about 2 miles that direction and then all the way back. Morning, everyone. So by the time you watch this video, I think you probably would have already seen that on September 8th, 2020, we left Anderson, Indiana, Michelle's parents' place, for our full-time nomad lifestyle. Today is 3 years from that day. So I'm celebrating it by going out on a mountain bike ride. For those of you probably earlier in the video, you saw that we did a hike with Reagan and Coral and Lauren and Aiden and Michelle. And we did Dumont Lake to Wyoming Trail. Wyoming Trail to Dumont Lake, I think is what it's called. So I decided I was going to mountain bike this one. We had only hiked about 2 miles, well 4 miles of it, 2 miles in, 2 miles back when we were here the last Friday. But I decided I'm going to do the whole loop today. It's about 800 feet in elevation gain. It's about 6.5 to 7.5 miles. There's discrepancies on all trails. So I'm about 2 miles in. This is exactly where we stopped when we hiked it. So from here on, I don't know what to expect, though I saw on the all trails there's significant elevation gain. So I'm ready for that, but I'm feeling it. I did the Steamboat Springs mountain bike trail about 3 days ago, so my legs are still pretty tired. So, but we're taking you along with us. Hope you enjoy. I'm back. So I forgot my GoPro, so I'm having to do this on my phone, and obviously I can't try to film and ride at the same time. So I just reached the 600 feet of elevation gain. I got about 159 left or something like that. Beautiful spot. Nice place to take a break. The single track through the woods is now turned into I'm assuming a national forest road. There is some campsites up here, so I'm assuming you can actually drive all the way up here. I'm just not sure how you get to it. But it's really, really pretty, and I'm the only one out here. I saw some people at the trailhead. They were hiking over to Rabbit Ears Peak. So I think at some point I may intersect with that trail and then ride that trail back down, but I'm not 100% sure. So I'm just winging it, having a good time, and you know, I'm getting whipped. It's a pretty difficult ride. I've been walking up some of these more steep hills, but it's beautiful. Love Colorado.
This is our last night in Steamboat Springs, and we're headed out in the morning.
So we hope you join us next week at our new destination. Don't forget to, what, Michelle?
Hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, and be sure and hit that notification bell so you don't miss one of our episodes.
Thanks everyone. See you next week.